What's going on, guys? I'm ACL Pro Jay Rubin, returning back for my 6th season, and we're all back.
Hey everybody, we're back. All that in a bar of soap, and what better way to be back than with my guy Jay Rubin.
Yeah.
Hey Jay Rubin, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, appreciate you coming on, brother. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate this, and especially to get to know someone like you, and getting a little bit to find out a little bit more about you.
Absolutely.
So let's do this. Matt, Senor.
Yeah. Saw one of the more recent reveals. You and Ryan Trader. How did that become?
Honestly, it kind of gained steam in August when I didn't land a job yet at the time, and so I was like, you know what, I need another source of income. I have a way to get back into the ACL, but I had some conversations with Ryan early. I talked to his father. I talked to him. He really wanted to pair up this season. And, it all kind of started back in like May, June. Me and him played some cash games one-on-one. He beat me 4-2. And then we played Logan and Justin for $100 a man, and we beat them both games we played. So, at that moment in time, I wasn't practicing or playing nearly as much as I used to. So I knew I could still go out there and compete with the best in the world, even though I was out there having a good time drinking some beers. So that's kind of how it all started. It just, kind of fell into place thereafter.
There you go. No, nice. Sounds awesome.
Great answer.
Yeah, cool, Jay. What do you got? Yeah, I was going to ask him, like, when did you know after retiring, when did you feel like, you know what, I actually could do this and I actually want to commit to coming back? Because coming back to play cornhole, you want to be the best at what you do, right? There's a lot of time that you got to put into that time and effort you got to put into it. When did you feel like, you know what, I want to get back into this? I can't be number one in the world. I can't beat these guys. I want to play against these new young bloods coming out and what have you. When did you feel like I want to come back?
Honestly, August 29th. That was the day I swear to God. So I interviewed for my old company, and I was denied the position on the 29th.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like things are just starting to come to a head, and I'm like, I need a source of income. So I talked to my kid's mother, and I'm like, look, I got an offer in front of me a week later in early September, letting me know that, I could come back to the ACL. I got a sponsorship lined up. I got a partner lined up. And that's honestly how it all happened. There wasn't like a huge ramp up or anticipation or anything like that. It literally fell into my lap, and I felt like I needed to take advantage of that opportunity. And maybe it was God's calling for me to get back into the game, right? Because I didn't land a job. Now, after I signed my contract, 2 or 3 days later, my job called me like, hey, you want to come back now? So it's kind of weird how it would have worked out, because if I would have gotten the career first, I don't think I'm back playing in the ACL. God's honest truth. Yeah. So in terms of timing, it couldn't have worked out better for me.
Well, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy how things work out like that. But hey, we're glad you're back. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Gonna be fun to watch this year. Jay, with the time you've had off, I mean, how do you think? I mean, watching it from the outside, from the sidelines and stuff, how do you think that's changed you as far as now? Like, have you been thinking like, if I was back in there, what would I do different? This time around. You've obviously been at the top for so long there. At this point, are you thinking like is your mental state in a different spot now? You got a new partner, excited to be in with new players too,
Yeah, so for me, what's kind of changed is I got all the litigation behind me. That was the biggest obstacle, right? It was getting acclimated to my kids moving out and then co-parenting. I was in a toxic relationship for, on and off for 2 years. That's now behind me. So there were a lot of things that actually help create more headspace, right? So I don't have as much on my plate as I once did. Even though I'm very mentally strong, I feel like this is going to make me even stronger mentally. And in terms of, the player itself, I think I'm going to have more bags that are comfortable in my hand than I've ever had before, which I feel like is going to lead to more success. So a combination of those things is what I really feel like, kind of helped me here. On top of just taking some time off and not even playing, just relaxing my body. I lost a ton of weight from the last people saw me on TV, things of that nature. So overall, I'm just in a much better place than what I was.
That's awesome, man.
Good, man. Good, man. Well, throw back to when you were a pro, when you first started. What date or when was your first pro game?
Wow, my first pro game was, what was that first national? I know the second and the third ones. The third one, me and Novi won. I can't even say, nope, St. Louis was national too. Might have been Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
It might have been Vegas where me and Novi were out there. But regardless, national one. We played they had pro doubles at the time. They didn't have pro singles, but we could play in advanced open, like advanced doubles, advanced singles. So it was kind of like the open concept. But getting out there for me was seeing where I ranked up against the best players in the world, and that's what was my competitive drive, to see how good I can be in this game, right? And years later now, like, I'm one of the people that helped evolve the game. There's a bunch of other players that have, but I mean, there's a lot of people that look up to me in some capacity, right? Whether they want to conduct themselves like me or play like me, emulate throws, whatever it might be. So it's cool to see that progression within the game and, how you've made an impact.
For sure.
Yep.
Sure.
No, for sure. And it my kind of question kind of leads into some of the things you've already talked about. How important, we had some conversations yesterday with teammates that are states away, like many states away, but they play together and seem to do okay together. Is it important to you to have somebody local that you can, within a reasonable amount of distance, be able to play with on a regular basis to build that team chemistry, to see what you're going to do in the prime time moment and how you guys react to each other and can build off each other during a game?
I mean, I think in some situations it helps, in others it doesn't. So for me, I played with Jordan. He lived in Michigan, then he moved to South Carolina. Lester lived in Kentucky and didn't travel pretty much like I wasn't traveling much either. So, I mean, as long as you got a good work ethic and you're out playing tournaments, locally, whether it's just bring your own partner, blind draws, or you're subbing at a league, whatever it may be, as long as you're putting in reps and you're prepared, I think you'll be all right, and then when you get out there, you can build off of that chemistry in those big tournaments.
Very nice.
Nice. So since you're back now, I know you played against, best in the world and a bunch of great players. Are you excited to play someone that you haven't played yet on the tour? Anybody that sticks out that you haven't had a chance to play against yet, and you're like, all right, this is what I want to play. This is who I want to play against, and this is who I want to test myself against.
This is like UFC matchmaking.
Right? I always want to play the best players, right? So, I mean, starting with, Jeremiah Ellis, I want to play against him. He seems like he's got great energy.
Yep.
There might be a little bit of chirping, but it'd be all good, banter, stuff that people can watch and really tune into.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be fun. But then you got all these other younger kids that are out there that I've never even thrown it down and back with, your Sammy Sodas of the world, players like that. So, yeah, I can't wait to get out there and, just get that feel back of, being out there competing with the best players in the world and giving my all this year.
Nice. Yeah. Look forward to it, brother.
Yeah.
Your nickname's always been Air Rubin, right? Is it this, coming out of retirement here, is that going to change? Are you going to try to upgrade it? Are you going to do something different with that? Or is this going to hit the airmails like you always do?
It'll stay the same. That's kind of how I branded myself. And, it's gone like that for, God, it's been at least 3 or 4 years now. So I'm going to stick with it. I like it. It kind of flows very well. It goes with my logo, which I might redesign my logo. I've talked to a couple people about potentially doing that. But if it's a good brand, which I've already started, I don't want to tweak it or alter it too much. So it'll probably remain the same.
Cool, man.
I got a 2-part question. All right. First one. Can you play Stairway to Heaven on the guitar?
No, I couldn't play one. I couldn't play 2 chords on a guitar. No
Cool,
shot.
cool. Now to actually another fun question. Top 3 places you like to play cornhole. Could it be a bar? It could be someone's place. It can be a backyard. What's your top 3 places without like, not to hurt anybody's, feelings, but say 3 places you like.
3 places, man. So I'm gonna go with 3 random like destination places that I think would be awesome to play bags.
Oh, good choice.
I'm gonna go with Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Italy, and I'm gonna go with Santorini, Greece. 3 places that I've never been, 3 places I would love to go to, and what better way to visit those countries and states and countries and throw some bags. So I think those 3 with the views that they all have, I think would be amazing.
They all sound like pretty windy out there, dude.
I love the wind.
I know that.
We've thrown against them in the wind. It didn't matter.
What the hell, man?
Bring it.
The wind doesn't affect you. We know that, dude.
Rain or wind. That was our Tuesday night league. When rain or wind, it didn't affect Jay. None. He was coming through all that crap. I'm like, oh my
Yep.
Well, I was actually about to ask the question: would you prefer the predictability of inside or the unpredictability of outside?
Give me outdoors all day long. I want
Like it.
indoors. You can be an average player and become pretty good rather quickly. Outdoors, you get exposed so quickly, and I feel like you get a better idea of who the best players in the world are versus when you see them play outside. You know what they can do indoors, obviously, but when you get them outdoors, you see that other element. Some people can't handle the wind. Some people can't handle crappy equipment or up and down and slanted boards.
Right.
That's my measuring bar. So give me outdoors all day.
Yeah. Kingston Lanes.
Jay, other than corn, you got any other hobbies that you like to get into other than cornhole, playing bags? You got any other sports you like to play?
I mean, I used to love playing basketball and softball, but injuries kind of derailed that in my 20s, and it didn't pay the bills. It was just more for fun, going out and playing some ball and then drinking afterward type of thing.
Right.
But now, I love doing things with my kids. They're extracurriculars. I got gymnastics, and my son with baseball. I'll be signing him up for basketball here in the winter. But I took advantage, and I did more fishing this year than I did in the last 2 to 3 years combined.
Nice.
So it's fun to get out there, fish. I love being on the water, whether I'm boating or just hanging out on the water. I mean, I'd go with my ex-girlfriend, and we would sit by a lake and sit lakeside, watch the sunset, have a couple of drinks, and just enjoy those moments. That was my peace and relaxation, was just having that view in those moments. So those are some of the things that I do like to do.
Cool. Man. And I hate to bring up like the new rules that are coming out and everything. And I know, obviously the line stepping, it obviously doesn't affect you and how you throw, but like your partner, Ryan, takes a huge step, and I'm just wondering how like that affects him. And what do you think that's going to do to a lot of players that, have to worry about that now and change up their style of throw,
In terms of Ryan, I know personally, just videos he sends me on Snapchat or text or whatever. I know he's working on it. I know he's keeping the step and he's moving further back. I've also seen him throw some bags where he's kind of standing more still. I think he'll probably end up stepping back some and just throwing it from a slightly further distance. Like my foot is probably that far behind the line, and that's how I throw. So I mean, if his landing zone is similar to that, he's not going to miss a beat. The problem is I think the people that really have that hard, low push and they need all that extra momentum, that's where it's going to hurt them, because now they're accustomed to being at the front of the board. Now they're going to have to move backwards. So unless they're really working on that, it probably affects those guys. I know me, if I have to do a really hard push where I got 3, 4, 5 bags I got to somehow plow through, I would probably take 1 foot and step it over the line. So, but I'm not practicing. If I got to shoot that, I'm going to step back and I'm going to pray that something good happens.
It kind of messes with you like mentally and physically, it's like I know I got to push this, but I know I can't step over that line. So physically, you got to cut back and you just short it, front board it. Yeah. So
ACL highlight reels are going to look totally different now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to probably see a few clips of some guys doing some really impressive stuff, like having to move back and do that. But you'll probably see a bunch of bloopers as well.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here's a mental tough question because I always want to know what people are feeling or thinking when you on that championship game when you guys were you were losing like bad. What goes through your mind, like to know and to or still have the how do you put it, the smarts or the know that you can come back. What's going through your mind? Like what are you thinking or what's your drive at that moment?
It misses. Oh my goodness. A chance for Jay Rubin to steal this. Barring an unbelievable airmail drag, this is for the win in a World Doubles Championship. Lopez still with the bag left. Rubin slides it in. And this could be it. Philip Lopez has to go really high and drag this bag. It's over! One of the greatest comebacks we've ever seen. One of the best you'll see in sports for a World Championship final, down 20-2 against the best player in the world. Jay Rubin and Jordan Power defy all odds to get a championship. Jordan Power called it when he first walked into the arena this morning. He said, Mark's streak ends today. I don't know if we'll ever see a comeback like that on this stage ever again.
Honestly, Mark was shooting very well. He was shooting in the 10s. Phil was shooting insane. I mean, he was probably high 10s or 11s at one point. But I was in the 10s as well, and he kept going through every one of my blocks, and then bags I had hanging in a hole. Like, me and Jordan were not shooting bad. We were just getting outshot. We might have been shooting 10, 10-2, but they're shooting 10.5 and 11, right? So it wasn't a bad game, and I felt like, you know what? Everybody can get hot, but eventually there's going to be a little opening, and you got to be able to take advantage of those openings when they happen. And we stayed the course, and unfortunately got the 20-2. And that's when the mistakes happen. I think the game ended in 7 rounds after that. So it can show you it took 23 rounds for them to get a 20-2 lead. It took us 7 rounds, I believe, to come back and win the game. So I feel like, we stayed more consistent longer than what they did. And, it was a great game. Those are great competitors, great guys. And I'm glad we were able to put on a show and, put ourselves in the history book.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was.
It's just like in any sport, you change that momentum, and you ride that and you push it. You push people on their heels, and you ride that all the way, man. That was awesome to watch too. Yeah. Great game.
Yeah, definitely a legendary game for sure. And on a much, much lighter note, there's several people you hang out with that we all have mutual friends with, and I see some songs come on that you kind of jam to every once in a while. I was going to ask you, what kind of music do you typically listen to? What are a couple favorite songs you might have?
When I'm Friday nights, when I'm with the guys and we're just hanging out, I love hearing Lachona at a certain point in the night. I mean, Jason's got a video of me where I'm playing against Brody, I think. And like the song comes on, I stop what I'm doing and I start dancing a little bit, and then I go throw a bag, and then I come back and I start dancing again. So, I like good vibes, I like good energy and stuff like that. I'm 41, but I'm a big kid at heart. So, but I love everything. I literally love every genre of music. Country is one of my go-tos. Rap, hip hop's one of my go-tos. I love R&B. I love some alternative rock type stuff. So. Whatever I'm feeling in that day or that moment is typically what I gravitate towards.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. All good. So here, aside from cornhole, maybe even cornhole, would you had any influences as far as playing the game? Somebody you looked up to or helped you along the way that really helped you develop your game or made you want to be a professional cornhole player?
I wouldn't say there was anybody I looked up to. There were a bunch of players that I wanted to hand them losses because they kept handing me losses,
Right,
to be
right.
honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Noby, Mark Stanky, you guys probably don't know Mark because he doesn't really play anymore.
Yeah.
But then guys like Ryan and Cedro and Dave Sutton and Tom Gustafson,
Yep.
those guys, Chris Dave, and they all pounded my ass when I first started. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give these losses back to you guys one day. And so that was my motivation when I first started. A, to see how good I can be, but B, everybody that was beating me and taking my money, I want to return the favor. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I approached that.
Yeah. When you get your pocketbook, you definitely got to get back. For sure.
I got it back and then some.
I think for one of the last questions here, I know you haven't announced any bag companies or any sponsorships yet. Are we going to see like a signature series and your own set? I know you were throwing Titan Prowlers and
Prowlers and Thrashers. Venoms was what I was mainly throwing.
Yeah. And so this time, are we going to get just like you had the Prowlers, you had the 21 on them and everything, and you're probably going to do that with this new sponsorship and everything?
Yeah, so I'll do something for myself with the Air Rubin, and then me and Ryan, it might be the first release for the company, but I think we're going to do a collab bag. We're in the process of actually trying to come up with a nickname for us to put on the bag. So I literally got group chats going as we speak to try to hash out those details. My creative side is not working here, so it's kind of hard. You got Roland Ryan, but you got Air Rubin. What are you going to call us? Air Roland? Like, there's nothing that's just like clicking and sticking out. So we're trying to find the right words to kind of put together and come out with that series. But yeah, stay tuned. That definitely will drop.
Cool. I don't remember what Ryan was throwing. He was throwing, I know he was fly cornhole. But I don't remember what bags he was throwing as far as, are you guys like on the same page as the type of bag and everything?
Yeah, we were throwing, or he was throwing Fly Magics, which is a traditional carpet. It's tackier. It's his was very loose. I mean, it was for me, if I got to throw a slower bag, I don't mind it. I actually prefer it, but I need it to be a little bit fuller. If it's super floppy, my bag tends to wobble just because of the bead shift in my hand. Doesn't matter how hard I grip it. If I'm folding it in half, majority of those beads are in the palm of my hand, and I like it to be distributed a little bit, which helps me keep it flat. But we got like 5 sets of bags in our hand. 3 of them we really like. All are on that medium side that I prefer. So cool. I'm pretty excited for that part.
Cool, man. Yeah, same here. Can't wait to see when you guys. Do you have like a date of when you're going to announce it and share it?
No, so initially, I came up with an idea of how we can release it, and it involved a film crew and everything else. And he was on board with doing it, but I have not heard back in terms of that. I already got a poster ready to post on social media, the company and everything else.
Okay, cool.
I just think that the release is probably kind of changed and altered a little bit on their approach. So. Unfortunately, I actually do not have a date, and I'm being completely honest.
Cool, man. We'll be waiting for that, though. That's awesome.
For sure. Be on the lookout.
Awesome. Anybody else got any other cool questions you want to ask him?
I'm good, man. You guys got another question for me? I don't want to hold him up anymore. I know he's, like you say, he's on a group chat talking about his spot or whatever he's doing over there. So you want to hold him up anymore? But yeah, I don't have any questions, bro. I just want to say thanks for coming on, brother. Appreciate you. All love, brother.
Thank you again.
Yeah, Jay Rubin, thank you so much for being on, man. We really appreciate it. Awesome that you're back, and can't wait to see you play. I mean, it is pretty cool to be able to see you play locally and hang out with us, or with the guys, and see you come out to some of the places. It's awesome, and now to be able to see and know who you are a little bit more, be able to be more on your side and cheer you on while you go and do your thing. So
for sure,
thank you again, and no problem. If you have any shout outs or anything you want to say, do it now, or let's just call this a day.
No, I don't have any shout outs. Just like I said, I can't wait to get out there with Ryan. We're going out to Rock Hill in a couple weeks, play Open number 1, and we'll be going to Open 2 in Des Moines, Iowa. So a little bit closer for you guys in case you guys are going out to Iowa that weekend. You can see me and Ryan play. But other than that, thank you guys again for having me, and I look forward to doing it again.
For sure.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.